Well, good morning. This is my second attempt at this video this morning. I got 3/4 of the way through it and it just crashed and burned. And I'm not a good editor, so I'm starting all over again. Now, what did I start with? Oh yeah, it appears 7 states control the election. And I was saying back then, I said, I don't think that's really what the founding fathers had in mind when they put in the electoral college. I don't think the founding fathers did it, but when the electoral college was put in, because what happened was the controlling parties believed that the populace didn't know how to couldn't really elect a leader. And the original premise of the electoral college was that they would send these delegates there who would sit down, and they had the support of the general populace as a rule, and they would sit down and they would discuss it, and they would go back and forth to discuss, how the president that's going to be elected, and what and other things. I don't know exactly how it worked, but it doesn't work the way it's supposed to. It was originally designed, and it's kind of stupid now and very antiquated, considering how we can make the election so secure and everything, so you don't have to worry about it. You can go and vote, and I've never questioned. Look, I'll tell you the story. When I started voting, which was 56 years ago, they used to have, you would go to the polls, or this is the last time I voted in the United States, which was 12, 14 years ago. Same difference. You go to the polls, you fill out the form, you sign a piece of paper, they give you a receipt, go take it to the voting booth and give it to the person there. That person takes it and puts it in the order that you're going into the booth on the spindle. So later, and I know this actually was done, when they count the vote in the machines that we were using at the time, there's a tape inside with the results of the vote in it. And what they would do is they would take the receipts off, which have your name, your signature, put it down, put the tape next to it, and match them up, and they could tell you who you voted for. And that's one of the reasons I was told I had to vote Democratic at the time, because that's how my mom got her job, and recently divorced and all that stuff, so it was very difficult I had to more or less do it. I also worked for the Democratic Party, which was, sitting in those committee meetings, county committee meetings, and watching the friends stab each other in the back because they wanted a certain job or whatever. That was just ridiculous. That's when I really started to understand politics, and I explained it to my mom, and she started to understand it too. And that's the thing, most people don't understand politics. They just their political knowledge is, I go and I vote for this person. They listen to these people. There's not really a lot of political understanding going there, Okay. The next issue I brought up was that MUSK, Elon baby, has been in touch with Putin since 2022. Now, you're going to put this man in the government in a non-diplomatic point. I mean, if you want to put him in as a diplomat, I can understand he's friends with Putin. Okay, so you put him in a ambassadorship or something to Russia, so do something like that. No, he's going to be in charge of I don't know what you call it. He's going to be in charge of the pricing or something like that, or spending, I don't know. So some ridiculous thing where he can really screw everybody and can come out with even more billions of dollars. And he and Trump are sitting around drooling over the fact that they're going to get their hands on all this money, our money. But I think there's a certain degree that you're putting some sort of, quite possibly putting a traitor into the, it's like putting a fox in the hen house sort of deal, that old cliche there, or proverb or whatever. Also, I talked about the Washington Post has always endorsed somebody for president. I'm not saying Democratic or Republican, but they've always made a presidential endorsement since the 70s. They're no longer doing that. Jeff Bezos chickened out. He's scared of Trump. He's scared if Trump wins, Trump will destroy him. And that's the thing, you see, on a one-to-one level, Bezos has more money than Trump will ever have. Okay? But if you put the United States government behind Trump, Bezos got a problem. His money isn't as important, and Musk understands that. That's why Musk is over, wiping Trump's ass all day long. But that's just people have complained about that. People on the Post complained. A humorist came out and endorsed Kamala, and this isn't an issue about. This is a man they're afraid to endorse one or the other. What that shows you how close this thing is. But the New York Post endorsed Trump, but they're a Trumpette. I'm not sure who actually owns the New York Post, but that paper doesn't exist if there's no sports. The better the Yankees do, the better the Post does, because that's like USA Today when I was delivering it. The biggest issue we had was the sports issue that came out once a week. Nobody read the rest of it. Nobody cared, Nobody bought it either. All right, Trump is out courting Arabs and Muslims. Now that's kind of, I don't know how you say that. There's a term for it, but I don't remember what it is. But anyhow, as soon as he's in office, he'll reinstitute the Muslim ban, and he's going to just be the same miserable prick he was before. And this time he'll be worse because he has immunity from criminal prosecution. So he'll commit what is, criminal acts and then just thumb his nose at the world. And unless the Republicans all of a sudden get balls and decide to use the Article 25, they're going to be stuck with him. And the rest of the world will be stuck with him too. This election affects everybody, okay? It affects peace. It affects everything. Will there be some moves made by the Russians if Kamala gets elected? Of course. They always do that. They always do some sort of test to see just how the government's going to react, okay? Right now, our government can't react because it's split. And until we get some sort of unification going on there, we're going to have some serious world problems. But we'll have to hope and pray the rest of the world stands with us. If Kamala wins, all right. I don't think they'll stand with us if Trump wins. So I think we're screwed. Now that was that. Okay. Now I'm catching up to where I was the last time, and when the thing went down, and I don't understand why. Now, this is Donald Trump, okay? He was in Michigan, the state of Michigan, which supposedly he needs in order to win. And Michigan's the state with the large Arab population, if I'm not mistaken. And this is where he was, courting them now. And you sit around and you would never, if you're trying to win a state or support from a state government or something like that, you don't go around trashing the state or cities within the state. You would never do that. Trump does it with Louisiana, did it with no, he didn't do it. He did it with the whole state in California, but he did it in Louisiana. And he comes out and at a rally in Michigan, trying to garner I guess the city doesn't have much influence in the electoral college votes or whatever anyhow. But he's trashing Detroit, calling it the worst city in the country. And I don't know if it has a Democratic mayor and that's why he's doing it, or he's just a complete moron, you know. But Detroit is one of the cities that's going after him for money. I know that. There's a lot of cities like that, including New York City, where he's going to have a rally. Is it today? I think it might be today or tomorrow. I don't know exactly when it is. At Madison Square Garden, and that's a 70,000 seat venue that you know, Bruce can fill it the standing room only. We'll see how he does. Okay. Celine Dion can fill it the standing room only. Let's see if he can fill it the standing room only. All right. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting what happens in the city too, because he's not very popular in New York, even though he lived there. You know, that's why he left, because of the prosecutions, and he didn't want. He thought if he moved, he wouldn't have to. The local prosecutors couldn't touch him. He wouldn't have to worry about local prosecutions and stuff like that. That's why he moved to Florida. You know, even though he could have just walked across the river and stayed at Basking Ridge, but I don't think that would have been a good idea, because I don't think people like him in New Jersey any more than people in New York like him. He's not liked where he lives, you know. The people that like him are the people that come to visit him where he lives. But as an individual, Trump is not a very well-liked individual. You know, the people are voting for his, I don't know, he's going to bring back segregation, or at least people in his party, in his group, anyhow, and the megas want to bring back segregation. You know, let's turn this into South Africa. You know, apartheid. That didn't work. Segregation's never worked. You know, it only works for those that are in control. They make a ton of money out of that. You know, and the ones that fight it make a ton of money out of it. But nobody really. It doesn't do the overall economy and whatnot. It does individuals a lot of good, but it doesn't do the country any good, you know. But we'll wait and see what happens. Unfortunately, we have to. But that's, you know, I'm going back to that. He needed Michigan to win the election, and he's pissing all over. And he's over there pissing all over Detroit. That doesn't make, you know, this shows you how screwed up this guy's mind is. Moving along, let's talk J.D. Vance for a minute. J.D. Vance apparently has a new job. Chief apologist. Trump's made all these comments about the enemy within. Vance is running around trying to apologize and telling me he didn't mean political enemies. He didn't mean you know. Well, what the fuck did he mean? It is my personal opinion that he believes that anybody that speaks against him or disagrees with him, and that's the point, disagree with him, is an enemy from within. Look at the last time he was elected, and look what happened when officials disagreed with him. Military officials, secretaries of state, whatever, attorney generals, if they disagreed with him, they were out the door. He trounced them. He complained about him. He said, this is why I lost. He blamed him for everything, the bad thing that ever happened. And nothing bad ever happened to him. People just made decisions that he didn't agree with. And you can't do that with Donald. You can't disagree with him. He does not have the mental capacity to accept you have a different opinion. He walks into a room believing he is the smartest man in that room. and that the rest of you are just stupid. He does that with he has absolutely no respect for the people in his audiences at a rally. He doesn't care about them. Oh, he points out that somebody got ill. Of course he did, because they're distracting from him. He wants to be the only thing in that room. He wants to be the only person you talk about. He wants to be the man, you know? And that just... Nobody should just be the man, more or less, but especially not him. And Musk is another one that you don't ever want to be in charge of anything that's like a nuclear missile or whatever. But there are no... Trump puts one or two people in the cabinet, and he controls the nuclear arsenal. And there's nothing you can do about it. Not a damn thing. You can sit and plead with him, but if he wants to blow up something, he can do it. Scary situation. All right, it's Sunday. We have football coming up. I'm going to spend the day doing that, and tomorrow I'll talk about whatever's prudent to talk about. We'll see what happens. Monday's usually it's kind of maybe it is, maybe it isn't day. I think we had better news coverage 20 years ago than we do now, and everybody says, oh no, this is the instant gratification. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's like you look at YouTube, and the stuff I read is 3 days old, 4 days old, 10 days old. They finally put up these videos because they sit at home. They're like me. They have other things to do, and they sit around and then they edit everything. Well, anyhow, let me go and get frustrated watching the New York Giants.